Hey y'all, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Jeannie. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here on my channel, I love to, do the things we all love. Make the handmade memory albums, junk journals, baby albums, daily albums, prayer journals, all the things. I love sharing my craft space and just, all the things. If you've clicked on junk journals, you know what I mean. So welcome if you're new. And yeah, I'm just having a cup of coffee. If you saw in my cover photo, y'all, how cute is this mug? I got this at TJ Maxx a couple weeks ago. How cute is this mug? I've already said that in a video or two, but it's so cute. So I wanted to share, I'm halfway through the month of January on the Junk Journal January 2025 challenge hosted by Meg and Meg Journals. And I just wanted to share what I've done so far. So maybe you're like me and you love memory keeping, and maybe you scrapbooked for many years and you find junk journaling a little, it's taken me a lot of years, but I find it more freeing now. But at first I complicated it. I mean, if you watch me, I feel like I complicate everything, but I would try to do it all perfect and cute. But now I feel like I found a happy medium between scrapbooking meets junk journaling, So, I just wanted to share how I document my life. I say this as if I filled up 100 journals. Y'all, I start so many personal journals, and then, I have filled up a few, but it's been a while since I don't think last year I ever, you know what? Just being real. So my kids are in their early to mid 20s. In the past 3.5 years, I've had 5 grandbabies. And I don't think I've ever, the grandchildren, like just joy and happiness. I haven't even documented that. I've started December dailies the past 3 years, and I've done a page or two with them in it, but I have not stuck to it. I get lost in my actual work, and then don't take the time to document myself. So I say all that to say this has really helped me finally dive in, and I guess the commitment, obviously I made it to myself mostly, but I did post over on Instagram, and so I feel like because I've said I would do it, I've got to follow through, so this has really helped me do that. So I encourage you to join in a challenge. Now, don't do like me and overcomplicate it. So there are prompts. This is a little shiny. I printed this off on my Canon selfie, but for instance, I don't know, day 10 is trim. It snowed here on the 10th. I was trying to document the photos of the snow, but at the same time use trim. And to be honest, I feel like I ended up doing my son's birthday, which was on the 9th, on the 10th, plus trying to use trim and hidden. Y'all, I'm telling you, like, I overcomplicate everything. But somehow I've made it work. And yeah, so I'm halfway through, and I wanted to share with y'all what I've done so far. So diving in, day 1 was the cover. So I just used some fun thrifted finds from last year. This eyelet piece of fabric. This was a pillowcase. This was actually off a pillowcase too, I believe. This was off a pillowcase. If you like seeing my hauls, and okay, so this is just showing you how I would use, items that I did thrift, but I do like to share on Instagram, and then I share a haul over here on YouTube of the things I buy at estate sales and thrift stores. So if you're interested in that, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. And then I used some fun hand-dyed trims and pieces that my friend from Gingy's Journey had sent me. And this fabric piece, I was just trying to use special things, in here. This little Edith Holden book page piece. This was actually an image from I believe Cassie Duster Roses a few years back, like some vintage Christmas card images. So yeah, that was the cover. And then, so I had actually already started working in here before I had made up my mind for sure that I was going to participate in this challenge. So, meaning I had started a January journal. I had already started this journal like a few days before that. And then, so let me try to think of how to explain this here. So, day one, so these pictures are from New Year's Eve. I had already put those in because I was going to start from New Year's Eve and go forward. But then, so I say all that to say, for instance, day one, one of my grandbabies turned 1 on the 3rd of January. So New Year's Day, we actually celebrated that day while we were already, with our family for New Year's Day. And normally I would have documented that for day 1, right? But day 1 was the cover. So, and then I had already done, see, it's confusing me. And then I had already done this page of New Year's Eve. So then I couldn't do even day 2 or 3 because I had already put these tickets. So these 2 pages I had done before I had committed to doing this is what I'm trying to say. So, hey, Jenny, let's really overcomplicate this, right? But anyway, day 1, as far as y'all are concerned, was a cover. Day 2 was envelope. So I just used these. I believe this was an Amity Bloom printable. I know this was Amity Bloom washi. I think this was Amity Bloom. I was documenting New Year's Eve here. So I just put little fun photos we snapped that night. We weren't even going out that night, to be honest. And we were like, let's just get ready and go out to eat. So then we came back and snapped a couple of photos beside our now naked tree with just lights. But anyways, so envelopes. And then day 3 was tickets. These are some fun vintage tickets. And then, yeah, we just snapped a photo of each other, and I wrote about how we really didn't even want to go out. So there was that day. And then, so let's see, I feel like I combined these. So day 4 was outline, 5 was depth, and 6 was embossed. So I pulled a photo we had taken Christmas week at church. Our little granddaughters were both getting dedicated. This is all 5 of our grandbabies. Oh my goodness, I just can't even. She's the newest. She's 8 weeks old yesterday. And yeah, and so this is the 1-year-old, 6-month-old, 2 and 3. So anyway, so I outlined with these little frames here. And then my goal in this was to pull things laying around my desk. This whole entire year, I feel like I started back in December, but I just want to pull things that, those things you have floating around that you're like, I just want to use that, like this trim. I just want to use that in something special. Well, I'm using my thing. So I just pulled pieces. Even it may just be a little box of papers that's been sitting by for months that I just keep, a little shoebox. I have a little shoebox of random scrapbook papers that I'll think are cute, but maybe they just weren't big enough to file in with the papers they go with, so I'm just trying to use up some supplies. So this little label, this was actually a piece from, how you get those like embroidery magazines, and well, I still have the other piece of it beside me, but it's book pages. I love to look for these when I'm thrifting, but they have just the blank images inside. I love cutting those out and using those for little labels. So, and especially if they are colored, they give the same effect as a printable, right? So I love finding these type of needlepoint books and cutting those up. So anyways, and then I journaled Romans 8:38, I believe that is, in there, saying that neither height nor depth nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. And I was just talking about how these girls were dedicated this day. And then I, journaled privately just about what the Lord's done in our family and, all that in my journaling. And then, so for embossed, I used this embossed guest check and all these fun blue shades, this little embossed tag. And then we have Tuck Spot and Antique. So I had already put this in when I made the journal, but it fell in place perfectly. So I put some antique book pages back here behind it. And then I had actually taken Christmas decor down off of my hutch, and I had put out some, I don't know, just some, my youngest daughter got married last year, and I put out some of, I don't love faux florals, but I pulled out some of her florals from her wedding, and I just thought they were cute in these little thrifted, the basket and the copper teapot, and put them on top here. Anyways, my sister had given me these dishes she had gotten when she was first married, and so this antique wallpaper matched them perfectly, so I just wanted to document, that. And so this was a printable, and I just journaled on the back about the challenge and then me pulling out decorations. So yeah, that's Antique and Tuck Spot. And obviously these dishes are not antique, but they're vintage, and the wallpaper's antique, the paper's antique. So that was my thoughts there. And then, let's see, 9 was hidden and 10 was trim. So this day, if I knew when I took the photos, like this was January 9th, I went ahead and stamped it that day. Same with here, I stamped it the 8th, even though this was technically day 7 and 8. Anyways, so hidden and trim. So I just used some vintage rickrack, and the hidden for the trim, the hidden part, I altered this glassine bag. I did an Instagram reel doing this as well. And then I hid these photos. So some of these photos aren't necessarily ones that I would, print out and put on in a mini album or scrapbook layout or anything. Some of them I would, but some of them, like maybe it's the food we cooked or something like that, I just went ahead and printed those out so I could just okay, back up, Jeannie. So I collaged those on my Canon selfie. And so, we'll have the memory, right, if you're looking through. But it's not something that I would necessarily put on a whole layout. Does that make sense? So that was hidden. Again, it was my son's birthday. And then these are 2 of my grandbabies. I journaled on there. So that's hidden. And then put some little Maggie Holmes stickers. I put a photo of my son. He loves duck hunting, and so that was the most recent, just not that day photo, that I had that I loved. And then I hid this picture, if it's not glued down, y'all. This picture wasn't, you can't really tell what's going on, but my adult children, they were praying over my son because he was going to be working in the snowstorm. He works for the Bauer Company. He was going to be gone working. They were just praying for protection over him. And I was journaling just about just how that makes me feel and how thankful I am on that. And then so, let's see. Oh, and magazine. Wait, okay, so I skipped. I remember skipping, and then I went back. So day 10, nope. That's this was the 10th these photos were. But y'all talk about overcomplicating things. It's ridiculous. So day 11 was magazine. 12 was overlap. So skip over here. This was day, this was the magazine. I used just a pretty magazine page that I found that it was just so calming and aesthetic, And it already had this on here. I just thought it was cute. Resolution 1, I will live for God. Resolution 2, if no one else does, I still will. that's all that was written on that paper. It was just so calming. And then, because I think I was also going to do the neutral on here, but I didn't. I did the balance. I skipped opaque, y'all. I did. I skipped opaque because I had painted a page black. That's why I did that. I painted a page with black paint. It turned out horrible. And so I was like, you know what? It's okay. I don't have to do them all. So magazine, and then balance. So, and then overlap. So I overlapped these photos, and then the balance was trying to simulate the thing on both pages, you know. So I put this little stickers on both pages. I put a little acetate piece on both pages. And then I obviously balanced out the photos. So this was some Amity Bloom washi. Again, tiny photos that, for instance, I made homemade chicken noodle soup that day. This was my newest grandbaby in the car seat. All my kids drove over and play, because when it snows here, the world shuts down. But we were able to drive in this kind of snow. So, my coffee mug, you know, just little things I might not do an actual scrapbook layout of. I collaged the photos into tiny ones just to remember the day. My boots I had on, you know. And then this was not, it was a cute picture because I know he was watching his brother outside, but it's not very clear. It's not a good, to me, it's not a good photograph, but it's beautiful and worth remembering, you know. But I probably wouldn't put this on a scrapbook layout. So, yeah, just put down all the photos from that day. This was his brother. He was watching outside. So that is that day. And then flipping back over to day, nope. Let's see. That's 15 and 16. Let's just see. Okay. So the overlap 12, I skipped opaque, which was 13. 14 balance was on here. And then, so I'll skip back over here and did 15 was neutral and 16 was unfold. So I just pulled out, so I used this lace I had thrifted last week. Oh, I love this lace fabric. So pretty. So I wanted to use a piece of it, and I had actually taken a photo that day of the fabrics that I had thrifted, and so I just, because I'd put that on Instagram, so I printed that out. So as far as the neutrals go, I just used these little labels and journaled. I had made banana nut bread that day. Y'all, this is just regular old plain life, you know, like banana nut bread this day. Again, use some Amity Bloom washi. Have these little labels. So I put January 14th was the day of these photos, but yeah, I just journal little bits. You don't have to journal all of your thoughts. If you love doing that, do that. But I put too much pressure on myself to do that. So I realized if I'll just journal a thought from that day, like, for instance, one of my favorite things to do with my mom, besides crafting, is thrifting. You know, we love taking a day each week and looking for these fun things. So that's all I wrote about that, and put it down in there. And then put a photo of me and her this day. And then for the unfold, see, I wanted to include the tickets from my purchases, or the tags that were on them, you know, but they were not neutral. So I thought I could hide those in the folds. So, so when you fold this, it drops down. Staple the little tags. Put the photo here. This was a different day thrifting, but I went ahead and put it in here too, since that's what we were doing, you know, these days. Hit it with this. So yeah, that I know, y'all, I make it way more complicated than it is, but I wanted to share this with y'all so that maybe you try to complicate things too, and you realize how simple this is, and maybe you don't get to see your kids or grandkids all the time. Like, I know if someone's sick or something and I'm doing a challenge like this, I will tell them December, they know to send me photos. If I do not see them every day, they'll all send me, even my son-in-laws, they'll say December Daily or my husband, and they'll send me random pictures. I mean, the most random things, like I made banana nut bread this day. Who cares? But I do. I like looking back like, oh, remember when I made that good banana nut bread? So you can document the most normal things. Or even if you're not taking the photos, you can still put them in your memories. So, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I hope I did not drive y'all insane chatting for 20 or 30 minutes. I don't know how long it's been, but thank y'all so much for stopping by, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.